With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, 29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.
Welcome into First Pitch for July 21st. I am Drew Martin, joined by Adam Trigger and Tony Mejia of WagerTalk.com. We got 3 games on the slate we're breaking down tonight. We got the Yankees and the Astros kicking us off here. We got German and Garcia. Trig, coming to you first, minus 120. That's the Houston Astros at home, 8.5 the total. What are you liking here, Yanks and Astros?
Yeah, so Yanks, Astros, this is going to be game 2, and I like the Astros. Now, for double headers, and I'll kick it over to you guys to see if if you agree with how you sort of approach double headers. The way I kind of look at it is, I liked the Astros in game 1, not enough to get there with a client player or best bet, but it was the way I was looking. Overall, I thought, Yankees, they win a franchise, I think, record or most wins ever for them, 64 wins by the All-Star break. And my approach here is they might have been overheating a little bit. So maybe, fading them off of an All-Star break where a bunch of them went and played in the All-Star game is a way I want to look. So I leaned with the Astros in game 1. If the Astros lose game 1, I may come pretty close. It might be a client play for me. If not, it'll be definitely my strongest sort of take of anything on the rest of the board. Because in game 2, I think they have a pretty good advantage. Luis Garcia on the mound. I think that I'm missing my number here, but I think it's like Astros are like 6-1 in his last 7 starts, something like that. And the Yankees are going to go with Domingo Germán, who we haven't seen in a while. I know Tony touched on it on Wager Talk today. He might be an opener. We don't really know how long he's going to go. A lot of it, Drew, depends on how this first game plays out. If the Astros end up losing and they don't burn a bunch of their high leverage relievers, and then we're still getting Astros minus 115, minus 120 in game 2, I think that's a pretty good bet right there. So it's going to be contingent on how game 1 plays out. But if the Astros are to lose this first game and they don't burn through their bullpen, I think the Yanks are going to need more of their bullpen in game 2. So I would it's Astros or nothing for me, Drew. There's no way I would bet the Yankees in game 2. But if the spot sets up right, I'm going to be on the Astros for the second leg of this doubleheader.
Tony, I had the Astros circled as well here. I mean, they're 22-8 since Flag Day, June 14th, third best record in baseball. Also, to Trig's point, Garcia, he's 5-0 in his last 5 starts, so they've been hot with him on the hill. But you're going up against this Yankees lineup. We know Aaron Judge, leading majors in home runs with 33 of them in the first half. So always tough to go against that, powerful lineup. But still, if you made me bet this one, I would be on the Stros at home in Minute Maid. What are you thinking here in Houston tonight, Tony?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said on Wager Talk today. Just Astros or bust for me, just because we don't know if Domingo Germán is going to be a legitimate starter yet, if he's stretched out enough, or if he is only an opener. And I don't want to trust bullpen people. So first 5, Astros wide open, even though Giancarlo No Si Puede Parlo is going to be in the mix in game 2, presumably, considering he was held out of game 1. And we will also have Yordan Alvarez returning from his injury in Game 2. He is sitting out Game 1 of the Yanks Astros doubleheader. That's 1-0 right now in the bottom of the second, and it's basically the precursor to this. But I don't want to deal with the bullpens. I don't want to deal with not knowing what's going to happen over the course of the next 7 innings in Houston. So give me the Houston Astros first 5.
All right, I like it, Tony. Good start here, guys. We got 2 games left. We got best bets at the end. Let's head to the next one out in the state of California. The Detroit Tigers in the Oakland Athletics. We get Hill on the hill for the Tigers here. Tony, coming to you first. Montez, who is a target here for a lot of other teams in terms of an acquisition, and he's commanding a -155 price tag in the night game here. It's total of 7. Tony, these are the 2 worst offenses in a couple categories, depending what you want to go off of. Runs scored, home runs, and on-base percentage. Both of these 2 teams at the bottom of the list in Major League Baseball. But hey, it is what it is. Coliseum tonight. You liking anything? 7:05 Eastern time, Tony.
Well, my free play right now at wt.buzz/TM is the Tigers in Game 1 with Tariq Skubal getting the nod there and a nice favorable matchup against Zach Logue. Game 2, no, thank you. I will pass on that. I will pass on the heavy price. Obviously, Frankie Montas is going to be traded at some point, and he should have already been dealt. I would have dealt him after the near no-hitter that he had going on. I believe early June, I want to say when that was. But like we're way past that, and the A's still haven't moved him. Oakland has no aspirations of contending at this point. So basically, they're going to move their prized assets. We'll see if Ramon Laureano sticks. We'll see who else is aboard after the August trade deadline. But Frankie Montas won't be one of them. So he's got pressure to try to get himself out of Oakland, the same way Luis Castillo has the same type of pressure getting himself out of Cincinnati. And I do favor the A's, but no way I'm paying that price.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pricey, number here on the A's. I don't know how many times they've been more than -150 this season, Trig, but I'm going to guess it's not very many times. So it's kind of like rarefied air here. Going up against, I guess you could say, Hill making his 3rd career MLB start. A lot of this season in double and triple A. I don't know, kind of an interesting handicap. I like the dog here. What are you thinking in the Coliseum, Trig?
Drew, I agree with you. The only way I could look here would be the Tigers, and just kind of like we talked about, Yankees, Astros, very similar. I go in to a doubleheader with an idea of what I like, and then the only way I'm going to make a bet is if it lines up to sort of support what I wanted in the first place. So, like in this scenario, okay, I lean Tigers in Game 1. I don't love it. It's not something I would bet, but the Tigers, their bullpen, 3rd in Major League Baseball with a 3.08 ERA. So if Game 1 plays out where they don't burn through their high leverage guys, all of a sudden, if you're getting the Tigers with their best bullpen guys still available in the nightcap and you're getting that price, I think you kind of have to look at Detroit as a very live dog at a good price there. Drew, I would love to get them +1.5. I love +1.5 on the road. You get the extra at bat. That's going to be a little pricey in this scenario. So I'm not going to lay that kind of juice, but I would definitely roll the dice here with the Tigers and that plus money, underdog money line if they lose the first game. Because the other thing, Drew, I think a lot of people are looking at this game saying, okay, Frankie Montas, it's his audition, if you will. Listen, teams are going to trade for Montas regardless. He could get killed in this game. He's still getting traded for. This is probably his last game in an Oakland jersey. So I don't buy that he needs to go out and prove anything. To be honest with you, I think he's probably just like ready to get out of Oakland and get to a contending team. And the other thing I found interesting is his numbers this year, Drew, are better against the better teams. Seems to me they're better when he's up for the game. Is he going to be up for Detroit here when he knows he's probably moving on? I don't know, but I'd probably lean toward him being maybe not up for it, ready to start the next chapter in his career. I think there's enough reason there where if the Tigers bullpen is intact, you could roll the dice with them at plus money in Game 2. I think it's a pretty good bet.
Okay, I like it. And yeah, Trig, to your point, in terms of +1.5, guys, because I was looking at that because we got a total of 7 here. And anytime it's like a high favorite with a low total, I always kind of gravitate towards the dog and putting that +1.5, but it is a little bit pricey at -155 on the run line. Also, guys, you see the graphic there. We got the Tigers -154. It's actually flipped for the night game. So it's actually the Athletics as the huge favorite tonight, and almost 100 cents difference in the day game and the night game. I thought that was very interesting because both of these two offenses are terrible, and it kind of gets us to our next segue here, guys. Adding a segment coming out of the All-Star break. Wanted to get both Triggs and Tony's opinion here of how they look to bet baseball, because it can kind of be a tricky time to jump in. Going into the All-Star game, I love betting like hot teams. I bet the Mariners on the last day before the All-Star game because they were so, one of the hottest teams in baseball, winning like 13, 14 games straight. And they were up against the Texas Rangers, who were one of the coldest teams in baseball. If you look at their record kind of going into the All-Star break. But it's a little bit different now coming out of the All-Star break with, 4 or 5 days off. Like in this Detroit and Athletics series, Trig, I'll come to you first. My point being, Detroit is on their 13th straight road game. It's the longest road trip since like 2010 in MLB. But does that really matter? Because they had like 4 or 5 days off, whatever the case may be, for, I'm guessing, Detroit only had like one representative in the All-Star game, but maybe more. I don't know. But I think it can kind of reset a little bit. So that's another reason I look to bet Detroit. And I guess my last point would be, kind of pump the brakes, guys, in terms of betting hot teams and looking to fade cold teams, because it resets a little bit in the All-Star break. That's the way I would kind of point maybe MLB bettors out there, that maybe you can kind of catch some big plus prices here with some teams that the market's kind of written off. But Trig, wanted to throw it over to you with kind of a segment here of, what you're looking to bet in the second half, some trends, some angles, anything like that. Throw it out, man.
Yeah, so first, I agree with your whole assessment there, Drew. And just to touch on that Tigers-A's series and the game we just talked about real quick, another way to bet that game too would just be to make a +1, right? Like you just put half your money, half your bet on the run line, half your bet on the money line, and it knocks the odds down. It also saves you if it does happen to be a one-run game. You end up with a push. As far as betting this coming out of the break is concerned, I really don't. I'm not a huge streak better as it is. So yeah, I would almost look at any sort of streaks that were going on prior to the All-Star break and say, okay, we really don't need to buy into these because guys just went home, had a few days off, they're back. It really is like a reset, as you said. With that being said, a team I am looking to back in the second half is a team I've been talking about for a couple weeks now, and that's the Chicago White Sox. Now, they did have a nice run prior to the All-Star break. They went 5-1, which is a great way to close out the first half for them, as they were struggling to get back to 500 for a long time, and they really needed that solid week to close the first half, in my opinion, Drew. But they're a team that took some very respected money in multiple markets prior to the season to win the AL. To win the AL Central, to win the American League, and then to win the World Series. And they really, I don't think it's a stretch to say they played poorly for most of the first half, but that's a team that's starting to get healthy. Their bullpen looks a little bit better. If you go back to the beginning of the season, that was like a feared bullpen. Like that, people were talking about the White Sox bullpen being very strong, and they really struggled for a stretch. They were much better down the stretch in the first to end the first half. And I think if they get a better effort from their bullpen, and then guys like Eloy Jimenez are back, you start to get production from this lineup that was supposed to be far more productive than it had been, at least up until the last few weeks. That could be a team that I would definitely think would be a moneymaker going forward. And it's already started, right? Like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and since then the White Sox have made you money if you back them on a regular basis. So even up till this past weekend, covering as a dog or winning as a dog multiple times against the Twins. So that's a team right there, Drew. I don't really have a game plan per se for the second half. I really let the market talk to me and take it day by day. But if you want a team that I'm absolutely targeting without question, it is the Chicago White Sox. If I can find good spots at good prices with them, I will be a White Sox backer until further notice.
Yeah, getting healthier too. I like that White Sox look. Tony, coming to you, man. Second half looks. You want to throw anything out there for the sports bettors watching?
No, I mean, basically, I think I'm fading the Orioles because everybody's on them and they face a division that is the best in baseball, and all of those teams are looking for that additional wild card spot and chasing the Yankees. And I just don't believe in Kramer or Lyles or any of their other starters. I like Kyle Bradish best of all, and he's going to come off of the DL. So, I'm going to fade the Baltimore Orioles. We'll see what happens with the run lines. But from the standpoint of actually them winning games, I think they will fade. I'm not as big on the White Sox as Trig is, but I do expect Yohan Moncada to pick it up. He's already started. Jose Abreu's also had a rough start to the season. Maybe start playing overs on them if they get pitching. If Giolito straightens himself out, then I would agree with Trig that they will start picking it up. Cleveland has been doing a lot of stuff with smoke and mirrors, but it really hasn't been smoke and mirrors. It's been guys really stepping up, young players, guys like Jimenez in the middle of the infield that have really done their job. So we'll see if that continues. We'll see if the Twins continue to rake. But the AL Central, I think, is an interesting spot to bet, teams jockeying for position against one another. I think the Yankees, if you're going to fade them to knock things off in terms of their torrid pace, you do it in September when they have the race wrapped up. You don't do it now because I think Aroldis Chapman is going to be better. I think Jonathan Loaizaga is going to be closer to what he was expected to be in April before everything hit, and he's been largely ineffective and then injured, and now coming off the injured list probably sooner than later. So the Yankees bullpen might be even more formidable than it has been to date, which has been a big difference in addition to their improved defense. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. We'll see if the Cardinals can continue. Yepes is on the injured list right now, but he's been a huge difference maker. And their kids have stepped up in addition to Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. So looking to see what they do and seeing if their pitching takes a step forward. Because if it does, then I would like them, and especially with that bullpen and their potential, to be a potential spoiler to the Dodgers in the NL pennant race.
Good stuff, guys. Yeah, both good looks there. And we got the chat box chiming in as well. Raven saying ride the Mariners wave. Of course, they were the hottest team in baseball coming out of the break. We'll see if that continues. Have saying the Mariners play Houston tomorrow. Hopefully it will be a good price. And also keep in mind, guys, the Astros are playing the Yankees, possible
Twice.
Playoff matchup here, AL Championship Series in a doubleheader, and then tomorrow they're going up against the Mariners. That's a great spot to bet the Mariners, huh, Trig?
I mean, it's you can't ask for a better scenario if you're the Mariners, Drew. Like they have to play 2 games against arguably the best team in the league. That's a dream scenario for the Mariners. We'll see how that pans out. Also, Drew, real quick, one thing I meant to say about the White Sox, shout out to our Wednesday partner, Ariel Epstein, who will probably be back with us on Wednesday next week. She texted us, and I forgot to include this, so I want to make sure she gets credit. White Sox, second easiest schedule in terms of opponent win percentage in the second half. So that could help playing on them. Their schedule is very favorable the rest of the way. So it's something to consider as you're looking at some of these second half teams.
Absolutely. Another point to that, because they're in the AL Central. The NL Central is kind of the same way, guys. It's just heavily correlated with what division you're in, how difficult your schedule is going to be down the stretch. And this also points towards Tony and the Orioles, which I haven't heard many people look to fade them. I actually like to bet on them, but hey, we'll see what happens in the second half. And he made some great points there. Their schedule is going to be really tough. I don't have it in front of me, but obviously them being in the AL East, I'm going to guess they're one of the most difficult schedules down the stretch there. So that might help Tony as well. But guys, we got one game left, and actually we can segue into best bets. Tony, I'll start off with you because I think both you and Trig are going after this game for your best bet. late night cap here, 10:10 Eastern start, 10:15 there. Carlos Rodon in white going for the Dodgers. So it's Giants and Dodgers late night here, Tony. Total of 8 minus $1.25. That's the Dodgers at home after the All-Star break. What are you thinking late night? What do you got for best bet tonight, man?
Yeah, I mean, seeing Mitch White out there completely turns me off the Dodgers, considering that they should have momentum because most of those guys went on vacation. Obviously, their All-Stars did not, but they got to stay home due to the All-Star game being in LA. So presumably that would be a Dodgers spot, right? But this pitching matchup turns me off completely, although White's been decent of late. But Carlos Rodon, you're getting tremendous value. He's got a 2.84 ERA in July. Within the last 2 months, it's a 68 to 15 strikeout to walk ratio. So he's been fantastic, has been largely very good all year, had a rough patch here and there. But if you're getting him at, basically even money plus 100 in the first 5 against Mitch White, I got to take that all day long.
Oh, all right. Good stuff, Tony. And Trig, coming to you with conclusion in the nightcap, man. What are you looking to bet? Because I think you got a lot going on tonight, so I'm sure you guys will be sweating this out. What are you thinking late night?
Yeah, well, I'll just pick up right where Tony left off. And, I agree with him. I like the Dodgers here. I like the Giants here. I'm like reading my notes and my brain is not connected to what I'm reading. So I like the Giants plus money in this game. Drew, this spot comes up occasionally where you've got, you see it at the beginning of the season with the team that just won the World Series and it's like the celebration weekend and stuff like that. It feels like the party's still going in LA, right? Like they just had the All-Star break. They just had the All-Star festivities. A lot of the Dodgers were on the All-Star team, and now they play a nationally televised game at Dodger Stadium. Like, what could go wrong, right? But I really do think that the better option here is the Giants, who come in, not as many All-Stars. In my opinion, Rodon is the better pitcher. Listen, he was an All-Star. He didn't pitch in the All-Star game, right? Because he had the blister, so he got some rest. So, the Giants also, too, I know we talked about this in the last segment, maybe it's not going to carry over teams that were hot going into the break, finishing hot, but the Giants were 7-2 and really starting to play some better ball. And the Dodgers were red hot going into the break, specifically hitting the baseball. And we also saw earlier this year a stretch where the Dodgers couldn't hit with runners in scoring position, couldn't score. And the Giants actually beat them up in a series earlier this year. I think they swept them out in San Francisco. And maybe San Francisco lost the 2 at Dodger Stadium. But listen, what it comes down to here, Rodon is the better starter, in my opinion. I don't think there's any real question about that. He's going to probably go deeper than 5. At least I hope he does. But the bullpen here, I'll end with the reason I like full game. Giants bullpen just got a nice rest. And the Dodgers high leverage guys just don't impress me that much. Like Kimbrel's not an elite closer anymore. So I'm not really that worried. If it really comes down to it, I think the Giants could get the Dodgers bullpen here. So I'll give you the plus money, plus 115, I think it is right now. I just think it's a good spot for the Giants to catch the Dodgers still maybe in party mode a little bit.
Good stuff from Trig and Mejia in the late night affair. And guys, for my best bet, I'm going to the middle game we talked about, the Detroit Tigers, Oakland Athletics, minus 155. The A's are laying. Get out of here with that, guys. I'm taking the big plus price with the underdog. Look, both of these offenses are bad. They're number 29, number 30, the worst offenses by a lot of metrics here. And so an advantage we can get is, other than the price, the big plus price, is the bullpen advantage. Probably a top 10 bullpen from the Tigers. A lot of these pieces in their bullpen going to be trade acquisitions for, that teams looking to that are going to be buyers before the trade deadline. So in the later innings, I think we get an advantage with the Tigers. And Oakland, commanding this price tag because Montez is on the hill. But you got to remember, he had that sore shoulder. Is the velocity going to be there? I'm not too sure on that. And the Tigers' 13th straight road game, the most in MLB since 2010. But I don't think it really matters all that much after the All-Star break. They got a break. For all of those reasons, guys, I'm going to back Hill here, making his 3rd MLB start, called up from Double-A Erie, AAA Toledo. He had over 12 Ks per 9 in the minors. That's not a bad stat at all. So plus 145 as the high watermark looking at the WagerTalk odds screen, and no client play tonight. So that's my best bet on the card here. It's the Detroit Tigers plus 145 for me at 7:05 Eastern. So Trig, any closing thoughts here before we shut this down?
Yeah, so listen, I have not bet any Major League Baseball for today. I just talked about the two games I'm looking at, being the Giants and then potentially the Astros in game 2, if depending on what goes on in game 1. If I make that a play, I'll just tweet it out. But I do have a 5% play in the KBO. Korean baseball is back, Drew, after 8 days off. I love a spot tomorrow. I've been waiting all week for it. It lined up exactly as I wanted it to with the pitching and everything of that nature. So big play for me in Korean baseball, 5%er. And we're still doing the summer pricing thing, so it's only $9. So that Korean baseball play is just $9, 5% play, which goes tomorrow morning. And that's up on my page now. So any of the Major League Baseball, just check me out on Twitter at TopFlightSI. If I end up making a baseball play today, I will tweet it out and you'll get it for free.
And Tony, man, good show overall. What do you got for final thoughts before we shut this one down?
I mean, I don't expect the Yankees to shatter the all-time wins record, but I would not blindly fade them, as I've seen some people wanting to do going forward. I think they'll end up with 110, 111 wins, and I do expect their bullpen to be better of late. 7-1 on 5% plays in MLB. This season. Obviously, I don't remember the 7 that I won, but I do remember the one that I lost. It's a 2-1 setback with Seattle and Toronto. That was nonsense. But look, so we'll go on that. No client plays tonight, but I have a free play at wt.buzz/TM on game 1 of the Detroit and Oakland doubleheader. I agree with you on taking that plus money with Oakland in game 2, and I agree with Trig, maybe full game and first 5 if you want to ride the Giants over the Dodgers to spoil the party, as he said.
All right, guys, for best bets, Tony on looks like the first 5 in the late night game, and Trig going on the Giants for the full game, so they're correlated there. And I am on the big plus price, Detroit Tigers plus 145 in game number 2. So for Tony Mejia, Adam Trigger, I am Drew Martin. Please smash that like button, guys. Feel free to comment below. Any questions, we'll answer them on the show. And best of luck with your bets. Same time tomorrow. Come back and join us. Best of luck until then.
With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, $29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicapper's homepage right now.